Hello and welcome to another Python class. So this is week 4 already. Give God all the glory. He has been helping us since week 1. So this is week 4, and then this week we're focusing on functions and modular code. So we're going to get introduced to that today. Right. So what are the learning objectives for this week? This week we're going to understand what functions are and why they're essential. Then we're going to define custom functions with the def keyword. We learn to use parameters to make functions flexible. We learn to return our values from functions. We learn to understand the variable scope. We have local variables and global variables. Then we'll learn to build programs using multiple functions. We'll learn to write clean, modular, and reusable code. So let's get right into class. Alright. So what are functions? What are functions and what are they used for? So a function is a reusable block of code that performs a specific task. So you define it once, you use it many times, like a recipe, right? Like once you have a recipe for a particular maybe food or drink or something, that recipe can be used any number of times. Okay, the recipe is that, okay, you get rice, you get seasoning, you get all this, and then the first thing is that put the rice in the put water in the pot and all that. So once you have it, you use it many times. Now there are built-in functions in Python. There are functions that already exist in Python. An example is print. Remember I told you that when you have a particular code, a statement in Python that ends with the parentheses, open and close brackets, it's most likely a function, right? Like the print, len, int, input, all those list methods, len, counts, and the likes. Whenever you see a statement like this with parentheses, it's a function because it's a code that has been created. It's a piece of code, a block of code that has been created somewhere that it can be reused many times. Now these functions, these built-in functions have existed in Python, and they can be used anywhere, right? It comes built-in with Python, but the functions you will create cannot be used just anywhere on any machine unless you contribute it to the Python community. So it can only be used on your machine where you have it. So we have a lot of this. We have print, we have len, int, input, range, str, that's string. All right. So how do we create our own functions? The step to do that is very simple. You just define the function name, and then the body of code will be under it here, like that. So let's get right into VS Code and just define our own functions. Okay. All right. So to define functions, just put the def keyword, def, then you put the name of your function. Let's say def my function. So I've used this as the name of the function. Then you put parentheses and you have your colon. Now normally some functions need to have something in these parentheses. They are called parameters, but right now we are not dealing with that right now. We just want to know how to create our own functions for now. So but a function can have empty parentheses like this. So then immediately you press enter after the colon here, you get the next line will get indented automatically, meaning that anything you write is under this function. The moment you come outside of this function here, then whatever is outside here does not belong to this function. So let's create a function called greet, dev greet. So we're going to say print hello world. hello world. All right, so now after defining your function, you need to call your function, right? Because if I run this code now, it's not going to do anything. It's not going to do anything. All right, you see that there's nothing gets done here because we only define the function, we did not call it. Now you may be saying that, yeah, but we have a print function, we have a print statement here. Yes, we do have it, but this print statement belongs to this function, and unless we call the function, it's not going to do anything. So but how do you call your function? Well, just write the name of the function with the parentheses, then it's going to be called. All right, as you can see, we have hello world because we already called the function. Oh, I had made a mistake here. Hello world. Now what happens if we did not ask this function to print anything? Okay, let me just run this. So in fact it throws an error. It says indentation error, expected an indented block after function definition. Now it expected something to get written under this, right? It was thinking that Python was thinking that we want this grid to be under this. That is why that happens. So if you have nothing under a function, it will not get executed. What if we say dev add and we say print 23 print 2 plus 2, then we call this add. No, I said as. It should be add. Alright, so it adds and gives us 4. So the next thing I want us to consider is parameters and arguments. So parameters and arguments just makes our function more powerful. It makes our function more flexible, right? Now, the other time we said dev greet. Now, what if we want to greet a particular person? Then we can put a parameter in here. Now a parameter is just a kind of variable that you collect. A parameter is a variable inside a function definition that will be collected by your function when you call it. So when you call a function, you pass a data inside it so that the variable will take it. So this is how it happens. Now I want to put a parameter inside there called name, so that when I call the greet function, then I will need to enter a name into this parenthesis, and that whatever data I enter into the parenthesis will be called argument. So normally this is how a function works. You say def function name. This is just a way to explain it. Then inside this we have what? Parameter. Then you have your colon. Then you inside here you have your function body, meaning that what you want the function to do. Then when you call your function, then you put argument inside this. So what's the difference between argument and parameter? Parameter is the variable that you enter. Parameter is the variable you created when when you define your function, while argument is the data that you pass into that variable when you are calling your function. So let's put that into action. Def greet, then we'll pass name as a parameter. Then we'll now say print f now hello name. What am I doing now? This curly braces, hello name. So then let me call the function. But remember, when I call the function, I have to put the argument, meaning that the value for the variable. So let's imagine I did not put any arguments and run this. What's it gonna give us? What are we gonna get? It says there's an error because greet is missing one required positional argument, meaning that you are supposed to pass in an argument while calling this. Argument is the data for the variable name, so I'll pass in Lawrence. Remember, it's a string, so that has to be in quotes. Don't forget that. Let me pass in Lawrence and see what happens. As you can see, we have hello Lawrence. What if I pass something else into it? Sarah. Let me run that. So we got hello Sarah. We get hello Sarah. All right. So what if we want more than one parameter? I can say def greet name, then school. So that is how you can assign more than one parameter. Meaning that I want to get the name of the person and the name of the school. So I'm going to say print hello. Let me use print f hello, then the name inside this place. Hello name, welcome to to school. Okay, welcome to school. All right. So now let's call our function greet. Then I'm going to put two arguments. Don't forget, two arguments. And I want two strings because name and school will be strings. So let me put Lawrence, then Caris. So you separate them with commas like that. Caris Tech. Let me just say Caris Tech Academy. All right. Oh, this period is not supposed to be there. That's going to throw an error. Let me put it inside there. All right. So let's now run this. Is it hello Lawrence, welcome to Caris Tech Academy. So that's just how that works. So that's how multiple parameters work. Let's say I want a function that can add two numbers. Let me say def add two numbers. Then I'm going to say num1, num2. Right? Then I'll say print num1 plus num2, meaning that I define the function that I I pass two parameters, so they need two arguments, num1 and num2, and then we are going to print the addition of those two. So now let's call the function add two numbers, then we pass in the two things we want to add. Let's use 2 and 2. Let's run this. As you can see, we have 4. 4 is the response. 4 is the output. What if we use 200 and 300? Let's run that. So as you can see, we have 500. We have 500. So you can make something like this. It can be a form of reusable calculator. Okay, I have a function that can add. You can use more than 2 numbers actually. You can use up to 3 numbers if you want. You can use up to 3 numbers if you want. You can use up to 3 numbers if you want. So and you can use multiplication also if you want. So that is that for the today. So the next class we'll take this further. So see you in the next class.